Hey pals, welcome to another episode of the Plot Pals podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about Casablanca.
A very romantic movie for a very romantic occasion.
Something that even you have never seen.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day! This is a special episode for hopeless romantics.
You have to remember it's a lie. Like in this movie, every shot people are drinking. They're in the middle of the airport. The guy pulls out his glass and the wine. Like where'd that come from? Do you remember this?
Yes.
This is a romance film. But you watch it and you realize it's a film about
Loyalty.
sacrifice. Loyalty. War.
Ideals.
Idealism, versus sticking out for yourself and
Morals.
others.
It's about ethics. It's about
It's literally about World War II.
Right. Recently, we've been talking about war a lot. God, the Full Metal Jacket. We watched a new movie called the Zone of Interest. That's a German movie too. Oh God,
I know. We're knee deep in this.
I know.
World War II.
And it's also Oscar nominated, so that's.
Oh, the Zone of Interest. We will talk about this film. Very moving.
Exactly.
But enough about the Zone of Interest. Now back to Casablanca. For me, I had so many patriotic feelings after. I was like, yes, kill that Strutzer. Like,
and she's not even American.
I know. No consequences. Do whatever you want. Like, but do things that help another country. Like, I was really sold on their patriotic ideas, the same way that I think they meant it to be. Because after I walked out, I was ready to like sacrifice myself for the country, So it really got into me.
And it's not that Rick sacrificed like just a love to another man. It was like he sacrificed so much more, and then on the other hand, he saved so much. He didn't just save a family; he saved a whole like group of people that had this idea, this dream. So he saved that, and it's so huge, and he did a fantastic thing, especially if you consider his character from the beginning of the story, which is like a completely neutral character. He doesn't stick up to anyone. He's unhinged. He doesn't care. Okay, listen. Last time I talked about the fact that I don't like black and white movies, a bunch of you came and commented down below and roasted me. But, like, I just gave you my opinion. And I just tell the truth. And telling the truth is...
It's not allowed in this country. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. And then people are like this. But I would say I like this one, this black and white. I would watch it again, but because I enjoy it. Because it makes me feel good.
Specifically, this movie, they really do play with light and shadow.
Yeah, that's
so it's
why
actually
I loved
beautiful
it.
To watch.
For example, there's this scene that Ilsa comes and she's like, most of the times there is this soft haze, but there was this one that she was in the bedroom and the curtains were kind of like...
Oh, yeah.
So the light would come stripy kind of on her face, and it was also reminding me of the fact that she's like hiding in her shadow or her light. She doesn't know what to do, where to go. So I did like that, and I did notice it, but
yeah, I know black and white has something. It's hard to watch.
No, but this one wasn't. Really, I really enjoyed it. And I want to go to Casablanca now. I love it.
You should go to Los Angeles then, in that case.
Oh, he wasn't shot in Casablanca.
What a
I
betrayal.
fell in love with Casablanca now. It's in Morocco, and Morocco has always been on my list of places to go. So.
It does look really romantic in the film.
I know, the palm trees. I love the palm trees somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And there's cafes everywhere, people walking around dressed up.
And their costumes are so good too. The traditional costume, the hat, and it's just the bazaars. You go in there, and they're like... just the spices and all that, even though it's like so similar to Iran, to like south of Iran specifically, but the feeling is so amazing.
I did see a picture of real life Casablanca, and it's like apartments.
I know.
It doesn't look exotic.
Apartments are the worst now. They ruin these cities. These cities are so old and so beautiful, and there are so many of them in Iran too. But like these new apartments and these new technologies, new buildings, they ruin the whole thing. It's just,
I know.
Because
but
like, they're not
people. We have 9 billion people in the world. Like people need to live somewhere.
I know. But like, it's not even beautiful. Like the architecture is not beautiful and ruins the whole city. It's not like some glass kind of They can't use glass, of course.
That's the thing,
It's too dusty.
Especially in those areas also, they have to build buildings that don't break under earthquakes.
Exactly, that's the thing.
So
that's why it ruins the natural beauty of the city.
And as the world grows so fast, they don't have time to make it perfect in terms of architecture.
Right. But maybe if the war comes, they could like shoot these places and like,
Every
buildings,
week,
and then-
Anna's just promoting the war in different ways. Bring back the red coats. Break all the buildings.
then we could have the beauty of the old days.
Oh, God.
I said some absurd things now. You go. Say something.
Even, you know, you said this before, and it's so right. Like, somehow, society grows during the time of war the best.
Yeah.
Everyone puts their mind into creating this and that, and that's
Even
how
though
it
it
goes.
shouldn't be the case. Even though it shouldn't. People can't be creative at that
You know,
time.
even another thing. Apparently, America didn't want to be involved in the war. They had this policy that is called isolationist, something like this, where they want to be in isolation. They don't want to be tied to these ally forces. Like, if you go to war, I have to go to war. But then they needed money so much. Like, there was a country that needed money, so they had to make guns to sell to Britain
I see.
and to France. So that's how they first got involved. I imagine even war has these political reasons for it. Like, I just need money. I don't want to kill, but I need money.
Economical reasons.
Economical, that's right.
Yeah. Wow, you're
It's
right.
so scary.
Right.
So I was going to say, Michael Curtiz, during the 2 years before this movie, he was actually away directing 13 other films.
What?
So during this time where he should be like focused on Casablanca's coming up, let me talk to my actors, let me figure out everything detail-wise, he's directing 13 other films.
Damn. He reminds me of this Napoleon director. What was his name? Scott?
I know, Ridley Scott.
Ridley
That's right.
Scott.
This guy even outdoes Ridley Scott.
Wow.
In terms of how many movies he did.
Oh my god, I can't even believe this.
And then his movie right before this
Uh-huh.
was actually very similar to Maestro that just came out. This was a movie called Yankee Doodle Dandy, something like this.
What a name. Okay.
And it was like about a musician's life and how it affected other people. And then it won 3 Oscars. So he made that movie and it's like, okay, now Casablanca.
And it was, of course, black and white. That's what I'm saying. Maestro is an Oscar bait. That's why. It's black and white, and it's about a musician. And they knew the pattern. They knew Oscars would be given to movies that are black and white about musicians and, you know.
Exactly. Very romance heavy.
Exactly.
Like, relationship heavy, I mean.
And that's why they
Acting heavy.
made it. We didn't talk about this last episode because I was tongue-tied. But now I know I can see the truth.
Yeah, and
Bradley
I know it's
Cooper.
going to win good awards.
Exactly.
They've been really pushing it as well, even in the media. Like, they've done so many interviews about it.
Yes.
They sit down with the crew, cast, everywhere.
Yeah. I've seen so many interviews of them. They go
That's their
everywhere.
campaign.
All over the
win.
place they are. Yeah. Wow. See,
It doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. It just means it's trying to win.
it was made for that, yeah. And it immediately, like, affects you. Like, you don't see the movie the same way because you're like, oh, they made it for the money and for the fame and all that, not because of art or provoking an emotion or telling something.
The thing is, though, still, it did tell you something. It showed you how you get sucked into a relationship with an artist. And
They told you
it
how
takes
to
you away.
make an Oscar-worthy movie, yeah. They told you that.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's some hot takes on Maestro. I still really enjoyed that film, and I thought the acting was superb.
Right.
And that's why it's going to win Best Acting and all that jazz. Definitely. Oh, here's a cool story about Michael Curtiz.
Right.
And another parallel to Stanley Kubrick here, too.
Damn.
So apparently this guy, Michael Curtiz, one time he had an idea for a movie, but he was driving a car, and he needed to write the idea down immediately. But as he's writing the idea down, he falls out of his moving car.
Oh my god.
Like, his idea was so important to him that he just, like, pulls out the notebook and is writing it down, and his car he falls out.
Damn. And did he get into an accident or something?
He was okay. I guess everyone was okay at that time.
Wow.
And here's the thing. The same thing happened to Kubrick, which makes me think this is what you should do as an artist. Like, crash your car, come out, write an idea. Yeah. But he was driving, Kubrick, with a few of his colleagues, and as they're going down this hill, he's like, that place would be perfect to film in. So he's just going towards the hill and towards it, and people are like, what the fuck are you doing? And
he's just going straight I just see one
film
thing
it.
and then he's so straight vision, like that's insane. It's literally what happens to him. He just sees the goal and it's like, I'm blocked everywhere. I just gotta go there.
And so they fall down this hill,
Oh
literally with the
my
car,
God.
and he doesn't even notice. He gets out of the car, he climbs on top of the car and looks out like, that's the hill. We should film there. And meanwhile, everyone's like, Ilsa's like, what are you talking about? We just crashed our car. You're on top of the car now. Are you dumb? But I think that you have to be this focused on your art.
I think so. But right now it's like, Siri, write this down in my notes.
I know.
something.
Or you just don't even write down and you forget.
I sometimes record. That's good. But then I forget and then it's just there. And I never listen to my recordings. I don't even know why I record them.
Well, it's there. That's important. You know,
Yeah.
David Lynch is another director, and he says you have to write down your ideas immediately because there's nothing worse than forgetting an idea. That makes you want to shoot yourself.
Yeah. Ooh,
Very serious.
wow, that
serious.
took a dark turn.
Yeah. Let's talk about the political story. That's right underneath this romance. You don't even realize. Did you notice that the characters are exactly the nationalities that are involved in the war?
I did not.
So-
I just knew Rick was America. But
Exactly. Imagine Rick is American, then there's France, who is
the girl?
allies. France is Renault, of course, the officer.
Oh, yeah.
And there is Germany, which is the other side of the war with General Stratzer.
Yeah.
There's Norway, which is the girl. She's from like Oslo or something like this. And Norway in the war was exactly in between. So they didn't want to fight at all. They were like, we don't want to be involved. But then they got involved because each side attacked them.
Damn. It's like they didn't even use any kind of like creativity or something.
I know, it's super allegorical.
Yeah.
And there's Czechoslovakia, which was like
What was
attacked. That was the political leader,
the leader.
Victor Laszlo.
I see. Wow.
So, and it's like each person has a different country. We didn't even realize. There's Russia, which was also, it became allies with Britain and America.
Yeah.
But this is so interesting. I watched a video about this. So Russia was a big part of the war. There was a big part of why the war ended. Because Germany fought Russia and then they failed. Germany lost to Russia in the Battle of Stalingrad.
Wow.
And they named the battle after Stalin because Russia won.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like Germany realized, okay, we are not the powerhouse that we thought. And 2 years after, they lost.
Thank
but
God.
in this American movie, the Russian character is so like small and also follows the lead of our American character. Russian guy is Sasha. You know, he's the bartender.
Yes.
So imagine America put the Russian guy as just a follower because America and Russia were in a Cold War even. Like right after that, their Cold War would start. It's like who has the nuclear weapons. And so like this American story, of course, will make Russia seem less involved in the war.
Wow.
Whereas the other countries more involved. And then there was the Karl, other servant of America.
Yeah.
That was like Poland, a different country involved. Like it was also attacked. You know, and then there was France, of course. The girlfriend of Rick was French.
Oh my.
Also. So many. It's exactly
That's-
like the war inside of Rick's cafe and
How
their
did
involvement.
you even know that? That's so good.
It's this YouTube video I watched.
No
It was
way.
so engaging.
But
Actually, we should
you said it
connect
really
it.
greatly. I mean, I'm so hooked.
I know,
can't believe
what?
that.
Like, if you look at the history, it's so amazing how they just copied that and dropped it in here.
Yeah, it's like
And you can read it in 2 ways. Either you can read the regular story of the romance and this man, or you can read the war story.
the thing is, you know, when I was watching the movie, I was like, this Rick character is so new. Like, I don't know, I haven't seen this kind of character ever. But then, if you think about it, that they just took these countries that were already there, you know, and their characteristics, and put their characteristics as people, and just made them their characters. That's like, that makes it so much easier. Like, imagine for Rick, they didn't even have to think, what are his quirks? What is his weaknesses? What are his strengths? They had America. Like, they could just look at that and be like, yeah, it's unhinged, the dreamy idealist kind of guy.
Very cool. Always well dressed. Like, people look up to him.
Tuxedo and all that. Very popular. But then every one of them, they just copied and paste the characteristics of the countries. And
I know, like, how funny is it that the girlfriend of Rick is like, why don't you ever talk to me anymore? Or will you come over tonight? And that's exactly like France and America.
It makes it so much funnier.
Yeah,
now
right,
I'm going to
right.
watch the movie
I
with
know.
this in mind. That's how it went.
A quick history of the time.
Yeah.
So this movie comes out November of 1942. So America is knee-deep in the war. Every country is knee-deep in the war. There's going to be 2 more years of war after this.
Wow.
And people back at home, of course, want to watch films.
Yes.
Why? Because either that or they'll be crying about their family being gone in the war.
Exactly.
So they're just like, give us entertainment. And then the companies that are making these films want to do propaganda.
Right.
This is the time for it. Because, again, people are like, is our family going to die in this war? Are we even right to be in it? Like, why are we interfering? It's about Germany and Britain. What are we doing in this war? And then the government is sending out these mandates to the studios, make movies that are patriotic. Make movies that make America feel like we are helping the war.
Great again.
Yeah, for real. And so this is crazy. The day that America goes into war,
Yeah.
the day after that is when they start making this film. So you imagine how related the topics are. Actually, the topics are this man who represents America doesn't want to help, doesn't want to interfere. Like the whole movie is like, I stick my neck out for nobody. I don't want to get involved. I'm just doing my business. Like this is my saloon.
Exactly.
Just like America, how America didn't want to get involved, but they just were like the entertainment industry, literally bringing people to watch the movies and everything. But then the movie is saying, America should get involved. This is the main message, right?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, I'm wondering because like at the time that I was watching it and I knew that it was like a propaganda kind of thing, I thought, yes, it's because of the fact that they want to make people feel okay that, yes, you have to go to the war. It's okay to go there. It's about ideals and a new thing.
And they make his sacrifice seem like a good thing. He lost so much by the end. Like he might even go to a concentration camp. He has to run away from the country. But the way they show it, it's as if he did the right thing and now his soul is free.
Yes, exactly.
That's also a good way of doing propaganda for war, I feel like.
That's true. You're right.
Because he started really chill. Like, he had his place. It's so popular. He's making his cash.
So with that, with that in mind, if you think that, then you think the whole thing is just some advertisement? That's it? Like, they had no feeling behind this movie or something? It was just like the studio gave us some money to bring this propaganda to life, and then...
Well, the reason I think this is because of the timing.
Yeah,
it's like so obvious if you think. Imagine if there was a war in Canada today, and me and you agreed that we have to win that war. Like Canadians have to win it. We have to help others.
Yeah.
So of course we would do a podcast about that. Today our podcast would be, this is why Canada is a good place. This is why we're doing the right things.
Yeah.
So of course the filmmakers had this in mind. It's been exactly like 9 months. Let's say the movie's being written and coming out. It's been 9 months since America has been involved in the war. Yeah. And meanwhile, America's getting so many casualties. Every day they're hearing these soldiers have died, and people are getting more confused. Like, was this the right decision to come and get involved? And so these filmmakers are sitting here like, let's make a movie that shows it was the right decision for America to get involved.
Right.
Welcome back to the fight. This time I know our side will win.
And then it comes out 9 months after it was written. What? Like, this doesn't happen. So December 7th is when Pearl Harbor gets attacked in 1941.
Wow.
11 months after that, this whole movie already made comes out. So that means, December 7th that this Pearl Harbor happened, the day after is when America said, we're going to war, so we need propaganda movies.
Right.
And that's the day that the producers found this play that was about these propaganda ideas of America going.
That was a play, right?
Right. And imagine, so one day after the war, already the world is so chaotic around them too.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, these guys are like, we're going to make this movie. And then 11 months, 11 months is no time at all. It's in the context of writing a script, getting the crew to make it, making it and editing it and it coming out. It's like every day they were working on it.
Whoa.
So then they film it, and November 26th of the next year, so not even a year after that, the movie's in the theaters.
And was it popular when it came out?
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it was really timely. Of course, the war was still going on, and exactly when this movie came out, America or Germany had attacked Casablanca. So it was actually in the news.
Oh my God.
Right? It worked out really well
It
for them.
worked out very good. Yes. How lucky they are. Oh
I
my
know,
God.
exactly. And so then people are like, what? There's a movie about Casablanca with these famous actors? Of course I want to watch it.
Yeah.
You thought
So they
what?
did.
And yeah, they chose
What
one of
right
the
to have
best
to think?
actors as well. So, oh goodness,
Very
wow.
famous actors. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. So that's how it happened. Oh my goodness.
But imagine, because it's so tight, the schedule was so tight. Even when I'm trying to make a short film, it's been a year and I'm still like, oh, let me write another draft. Meanwhile, they wrote their whole script. And to consider this is #1 script in the list of 101 best American
Well,
scripts.
tell me about it. It's so amazing.
Yeah, what?
It's so wrapped up. Like everything that you see on the screen and everything that they say comes back again somehow.
That's right.
And it's so witty. It's so funny, and it's like so classic, timeless.
Here's looking at you, kid.
It's timeless. Like right now, you can watch it, and it's just. It's like they made this movie other than the fact that it's black and white. It's like they recently made the movie. I don't know why. It's
That's
just
right.
the way that they talk is so modern somehow.
Yeah, I know. The funny really helps.
Liebchen, sweetness hat. What watch? 10 watts. Such much?
It's
Yeah.
that every line, even though it has a purpose in the story, it's also really witty.
And they have some of the best quotes ever. Apparently, like the writers, the things that they wrote kind of became some slangs or something after
Ooh.
that. Like round up some. I don't know.
Let's round up the usual suspects. That's so iconic.
I think that's something that became. And then the other one, the iconic quote. What was it called?
Play it again. Play it, Sam. Play as
Oh.
time goes by.
That one. Oh God. The
Play it,
song-
Sam. Says like that.
I'm gonna say some controversial thing. This girl is a fucking bitch. She
What?
is so bad.
What did she do?
I don't like her at all. Like, I don't even think she was in love. The thing is, like, okay, it wasn't even love. They didn't even know each other that well. What kind of love are they talking about? It was a hookup. They say it multiple times in the movie that they don't know anything about each other. And they say it's like a one night stand kind of thing, or like, kind of like, I don't know, friends with benefits kind of thing. But in the case, they're not even friends. Like, they don't even know each other. It's like, yeah, they hooked up once and they realized, okay, it works good. So,
Well, it wasn't once though. They were in Paris for a few weeks.
I know, but a few weeks still, I know, but, and also they didn't say much about each other's lives,
That's
or like
right.
they didn't ask questions much. So they didn't know anything about each other. What kind of love is that? It's
Well,
lust.
here's the thing. You said yourself that when people get together just based on their traumatic stories
Right.
and their like what their ego was all about,
Yeah.
that's the worst kind of getting together. So
Well,
imagine if
this
they
one
got
is
together.
also not love.
Well,
You don't
th-
even
this
know
one,
the other person.
They don't even talk about their ideals or their past at all. They just talk about their present. You know, they're living the ultimate. I feel like this is the ultimate Anna romance, isn't it?
That's true. Yes, exactly. It is. I would love something like this. But then also at the same time, I know, like, after they went from that point on, they didn't live in the present anymore.
Yeah.
So they were always like, oh, Paris, that time that we had in Paris, let's keep it there. Or you ruined that time for me now that you came to Casablanca. Like, I don't know. They're just too much in the past.
You're right, though. It is probably lust because both of them are very handsome. So they saw each other in Paris, and then they were like, "Whoa, I want to drink with you the whole time."
Yeah.
But why I think it is real romance is because she was really young when she married the political leader.
Right.
So she, as she says in the movie, she saw this man who was really like hardworking and with ideals, and she became like obsessed with him, but not love. He thought it was love, but it was more admiration.
Right.
And so she gets married, and now she's still like this 25-year-old or something, super in need of love and romance. And then she finds out that her husband is dead. Like, first she sad about it, but then she's in the street like looking, I need someone to love me. And then she sees this guy, and this guy is so, like, even though he seems very hard, for her, he becomes soft and really kind.
Or I think that was like before he became even like hard and
that's also
like
true.
that. Yeah. I think at first he was sentimental again. He was so emotional, but then this girl broke his heart and he swore off love and everything. So it's like, this is just a one-time thing, and if years have been passed, I don't know how long passed between them, but if years have been passed between them, it's like, get over it already.
But I don't think years have passed either, because it's during the war still. So maximum of like 7 months, I feel like. Isn't that worse?
I mean, like, wouldn't it be harder if you knew someone actually and then try to get over them? Like, you spent years with them or something. But the thing is, like, they're in love with the mystery of each other. They don't know much about each other, first of all. Second of all, they're beautiful, both of them. And then they have this unfinished thing. They haven't got the closure. That's why they still live it. They think it's something ideal. This love is different. But it's not. If they get to know each other,
that's true.
That's maybe like gonna change into love or nothing at all. So it's like, it's just a mystery. So then it's lust.
And that's why she doesn't stay with him, I think.
Yeah, and the part that she goes to him and she kind of like begs and does every method of persuasion that she can, like,
I'm sorry,
pointing a gun at him and then saying, oh, I love you, no, I love you.
Yeah, right. Or you're a stupid coward, and then suddenly changing it.
Yeah, all of them didn't seem so sincere to me.
Right.
It's like she's just trying so hard to save her husband or her life. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so fair. Yeah, from the beginning, it seems like he's more into her than she is. It's because even for her, he was just a rebound. Like, my husband is dead. I need someone to
get over.
Yeah, exactly. And then as soon as she finds out the husband is alive, she's like, I'm gonna send him away somehow
and ghost him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you could have said that I can't come, but you send the guy to the railway station.
Yeah, for real. And then send a letter.
That's the ultimate. Like, the
see
original ghosting started from there. And yeah.
Exactly. And then when she comes, she's just trying to convince him to give the letters.
Right.
So it totally makes sense.
I know. It's just
smart.
that I think Rick had a better romance with that officer.
I know. They had such a good romance.
That and Sam than this girl.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right. It's very hollow. Their romance is kind of hollow.
Yeah, exactly. Romance is usually like that. I mean, the word romance means like illusionary kind of love.
Oh.
So,
here's the thing. She never says I love you to the husband. Never.
Okay.
And whenever he says I love you, she's like,
well, anybody can say I love you. It's a language thing.
But she doesn't.
I love
still.
you. I can
she
say
still
it all
doesn't
the time.
say it though. But imagine you say that to someone, they're gonna be scared of you. I love you.
But it's possible. You can say it. You can say it's not a hard thing to do. It's not like, oh, you get shut off. You can only say I love you to the people that you actually love.
Yeah, but I mean, they will know if you lie. I think that's why she didn't lie. So she didn't love him and she didn't say. But then she says I love you in a really believable way to the other guy.
I don't know. She's just too annoying for me.
But she's a smart girl though. Like,
she is.
She, even though, first of all, she's connected to two of the most famous guys. Rick has this cafe
in
exactly.
Casablanca.
I know.
Everybody knows Rick.
Everybody comes to Rick's even.
Yeah.
They say that. And then also this political leader. So she's doing something right in this world.
Of course, she's classy. She is a good kind of lady, you know?
She's a good lady.
A good lady. Like, by society standards and all that. But then, again, I don't know. These guys, like, she doesn't deserve these guys. I feel like they're too good for her. That's what I think.
And I think the reason they like her so much is because she cares. She always says, don't put yourself in danger. Be careful.
Well, all women at that time were like that.
And she's very brave, too. She's like, I will stay in Casablanca with my
she's
husband.
all talk. It's all talk.
I feel you.
Yeah.
That's fair. And later she becomes super anti-feminist. She's like, Rick, you should think for both of us. Think for all of us. I'm tired of thinking.
It's not her fault. It's the scriptwriters of that time. The 40s,
Yeah,
lady,
right,
hello.
Exactly. Well, we're not saying the actor's problem. It's just the character. We're talking about the character.
Yeah. You
I
have
love
to
the
think-
actor.
I don't have no mind of my own, dear. You have to think for me.
Exactly. But I brought a gun just in case.
You want to shoot me?
just for romantic purposes. Too many gun pointing in this movie too.
Okay,
It's
well,
crazy.
it's like
Yes,
I think one of the things of this movie was that there were different genres kind of happening. So it's like a mix of everything, and there's also melodrama is one
Yeah.
of them. So there you go.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
it
kinda
is so much comedy, so many like soap opera movie
Documentary
melodramas.
kind of like, you know, especially in the beginning when it's like they show the world and they show the map
That's
coming
right.
from Paris to Marseille and from Marseille to
Exactly. And it's kind of a crime movie as
Ireland.
well, of course, because there's this criminal who gets killed at the beginning and then he has these letters. Oh, where's these letters?
Yeah.
It's like a crime mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's shot in the style of these films called film noir, which means like black films. And this refers to specific crime films where the woman is very strong and like manipulative, and the man is torn between good and bad and like his different sides. And then the way it's shot is always in the dark. It's very mysterious. Like there's just small amounts of light.
Yes.
Imagine there's so many films made with these specific details that they named it a style.
Oh, wow.
If it has these details, then your film is called a film noir.
I see.
Like it's shot in a dark
well,
and
I
light
could
way.
see that. You know, for example, whenever we saw Rick, he was usually, there was light on one side of him and the other side was kind of like a shadow. Or there was like a very small amount of light on his face. He was mostly in the dark. And then we have Victor. He is usually
So bright.
so bright. There's no shadow whatsoever. It's like the light is like in front of him. It's like that. And yeah, and his clothes also. Did you see like his suit is like light cream or something probably
Right,
to
right.
show like that. Whereas Rick is always wearing like black.
Actually, Rick is always
No.
wearing white too.
He's wearing white?
He's wearing like
I
white.
forgot.
But
Ah, that's a bad analogy. Okay.
the thing is though, you're right. He's super in the shadows all the time, and behind him is dark or like half
Maybe
his face.
that's why I think his coat was black right now. Because he is so much in the shadows that I got this idea. Oh.
Exactly. But the other man, Victor, he's constantly like white as hell everywhere and no shadows.
And the girl, did you notice that whenever there's like a shot of her, she's always soft, like her
Yeah.
face is so soft. It's because of the light, and I think there's like some kind of filter that they put on to make it blurry and hazy, kind of.
That's right. Exactly.
It's like she has this really soft skin, and then it's kind of like dreamy. Her eyes are always like glistening.
I know. It's like they put
Always.
eye drops for every
Lord.
shot in her eye. That's what it looks like.
That's
It's just like her eyes are so wet all the time. This is just
the
how
extra romantic.
I know.
element
Like
of it.
it's not even the actor's fault. It's not the director's fault. That's just how they made women look. Every single
Yeah.
woman. And even that soft focus, like that's the name of it. They would
Oh.
make the lens just a little bit softer instead of like perfectly focused. And
For
that's to make the woman like seem more soft. Exactly. What the heck?
Soft then. That's interesting. Very interesting.
So many close-ups of women just looking gorgeous, and the lights.
Yeah, and
it's
you
during
gotta
the
use
war.
everything you wanna
I
you
know.
have, right?
It's like people are so stressed. What they want to see is just beauty. Even the man, Humphrey Bogart, he has this quality, hot quality.
Oh, he's so. It's just his performance is incredible. I don't even want to start on it because there's so much to unpack. It's so subtle. At the same time, it's mysterious. It's so much happening.
Right, but he's so blank-faced too. Like maybe that's what you mean by subtle. It just looks like you can't read his mind. He's just a movie star, like very serious all the time.
Well, I don't know. They actually act really good. So even like the girl, she's the subtle acting in her is that she's, you know, the time that Sam plays the music, it's like she actually goes somewhere else. You can see it in her eyes. Just her acting with her eyes is so good. She just looks like around a little bit. And then you actually feel like, yes, her mind is she's not even here. She's somewhere else. And like, yeah, that was such a good touch point.
It's true. There is
They do
great
that a lot of
moments
times.
in both of their performances, but did you believe Humphrey Bogart's performance the whole time? Even when he's crying and he's like, why did she come to my joint?
Here's the thing. I believed the first part. I loved the first part of it when we get introduced to Rick and we see everything. But when he gets really emotional around the girl, I don't know. It's maybe just me and not liking the girl, but the character. But I don't know. At the end, maybe even if he cries, oh yes, that's
you don't
not
believe
him.
it? I know. Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, I understand that they wanted to show, yes, under the shell is a sentimental man. But
there's moments that
it's
didn't
just
work
too
for
much
me
because,
either.
like, he has these characteristics and people don't change that drastically this fast.
That's true, exactly. Like, when you see he's so serious at the beginning and then suddenly you see he's crying over this girl, you're like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I felt that too. And it really takes you out of the movie, that specific moment, because you remember this is an actor. Like, he's getting paid to do this, and now he's getting paid to cry over that girl.
That's the worst realization when you're watching a movie.
I know. But the thing is, they're so, like, attractive as people and as actors. As you say, like, they have really subtle performances in other places of the film that you're still on the journey with them, even if for a moment you come out.
Yeah. Here's looking at you, kid. Yeah, they're very good. And the thing is, like, their accents are also very good. Like, it's very understandable. Whereas, like, the other movies that we watched, B&W one. And it's like...
W.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, in this, while they were filming, they didn't know if these two are going to end up together or not.
Oh.
Every day they would change their mind.
Oh, God.
So actually they
flipped
told...
a coin.
I know, literally. And they would tell Ingrid Bergman, the woman, they would tell her, just be really loving towards both guys. Because we don't know how we're going to end it, and we want either one to be believable.
That makes sense. That's why I don't believe her. Most of the times, I don't think she's sincere. You know, for example, there are these scenes of her past, the flashbacks, and she says, oh, Richard, dear, I'm so worried about you. I'm so worried for you. And then she says the exact same thing, swapping the names of the husbands and the men. And then she just says the same thing.
That's
Victor,
true.
Dear, I'm so worried
But
for
I
you.
think
Be
it's
careful.
because she has a type. She has this type of, like, men who are in danger, and she's worried for them.
Yeah, I think that's her, like, kind of her kink or something.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I'm just worried. I'm worried.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're right, though, because how can you love two people? But you can, actually.
You can. Yeah, that's the thing.
The same time that they didn't know how the movie's going to end, Humphrey Bogart was so angry. Because he was coming off a good movie. He had just made this famous Maltese Falcon. Even today it's famous. And now he's in this movie where they don't even have the script ready. And he's so upset at the director and everyone. And apparently as soon as they cut, he would just, like, go to the director and be like, what the fuck is this? I want to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, where's my cigarette? Like,
wow.
and he wouldn't talk to anyone else, apparently. No actors, even the girl.
I mean, it's understandable. Imagine, like, every day you have to memorize the scripts, like new scripts. That's so insane.
Exactly. And even they changed their mind. If at least they knew how it was going to end, it would be something.
They're not decisive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to work with them.
Exactly.
It's so hard. Wow. Like, imagine they have to memorize that on the same day.
Yeah, what?
It's so hard. And especially considering it's dialogue heavy too. That's such a bad thing. Like, they're so cruel.
I know.
How could they do this?
But the actors are getting well paid, I think.
Okay.
So
That makes it
just have to memorize the lines. And
In many ways, I am so much older than he is.
Yes, well, everybody in Casablanca has problems. Yours may work out, you'll excuse
The
me.
pacing is very great. So in the way that they talk, it's not too fast, it's not too slow. It's just perfect for each scene and everything.
oh, you think?
Yeah. You didn't think that?
Well, here's my question for you. Did you read the script?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I feel like if you had, you would change your mind because the script has so many funny lines.
Really?
That I feel like the movie, they just skip over it and it's
That's
not
so
as funny.
bad. Damn. But, like, for me, it was like each character got their best line, they shined.
Oh, I see.
Shone, sorry. Each character shone, and they were like really great. They had their moment, you know? And then
That's right.
we also have these long scenes that just keep going and going, like in one place, in one location. But you just cut from one character to the other, and it's just like the story is kind of like connected.
The thing is, if you had read the script, then you'd see each character would have like 6 moments
Oh,
instead of just one.
wow. Well, I think they had to cut a lot because of like, you know, it came out, as you say, in 11 months. And they had to be really quick with it.
Well, maybe. But the lines were still in the movie. They were
Yeah.
just kind of skipped over. Now, I have a question. While you were watching it, did you feel it was really dialogue heavy? Like people are just saying exposition to each other?
Yes, yes. Oh, exposition, I don't know, but like, I think it was really dialogue heavy. It depended on that because you don't see much of the location, even though you do. But it's like a studio. It really depended on the actors, I think.
Right, right.
And the lines. The lines were so good. The script was great.
The script was so good, and this is a controversial opinion, but I don't think that the movie was as good as the script. And here's the thing, like, they were making it really fast, so we understand. And even though the film was made 80 years ago, we're still watching it and liking it.
Yeah.
But the thing with the script was it had all these tight dialogues and, like, so funny and witty, but it was missing this visual element. And then the movie didn't give the visual element.
And what was that?
The movie just kind of like said the lines fully. Like, you imagine a film like Full Metal Jacket that we just talked about.
Right.
The script is one thing, you know, it has the lines in it, but watching the movie is completely different because the camera is telling the story
Yes.
of like you getting into the war and you becoming a soldier and all that. But in this film, it really felt like they took the script, here's the lines, here's the story, we're just going to
And
show it
that's
to
it.
you, like
Yeah.
exactly as it was written.
I was trying so hard to analyze the camera work, cinematography, or like perspective, as you say. But there was nothing. You can't find that. Like, you can't analyze that kind of thing because it doesn't exist.
I know,
like in this
it
one.
was like
It's just
more
that they
simple.
shot it. Yeah, they shot it. They didn't even think about it. Like,
And I mean,
it's not bad.
Sense. Yeah,
Because like it balances out because the actors did a wonderful job and the script was amazing. So maybe they don't need to go as heavily on the background and the scenery and all that. But if they did, imagine what a perfect movie that would be. Like even more perfect than it is now.
I know. And even today, it's still on the list of like 10 greatest films.
It
or
got
something
so
like that.
many awards, so many Academy Awards. Best Picture, I think also. And for actors as well.
Yeah,
Did they
I'm
get it?
sure. Yeah, exactly.
That's
When
so
you
cute.
walked out of it, like after you finished watching,
Walked out of my laptop.
like, after it's done, were you kind of like moved and thinking about it, or were you like,
No.
oh, this is a movie? I know, me too, and I hate this feeling. Like, why didn't?
Because like sometimes now I'm like, this is a movie that I can watch anytime I want. It's a movie that gives me this cozy feeling, and it's so funny. And I think I'm gonna watch that so many times. That's the kind of feeling I got.
Okay, which is good.
Which is good because if it's like something heavy that you go out with a message, like Full Metal Jacket, you probably are gonna watch it once or twice, or if you're gonna watch it more, you're gonna watch it for a purpose, to learn something from it again. But you're not gonna do it for fun. Well, this is a movie that you're gonna watch for fun.
That's true. You have in your back pocket if you meet a new person. Hey, let's watch Casablanca together.
Right.
That's funny.
Like Harry and Sally. So
Yeah, but I do think they could have done better with this. Most of the scripts that you read
yeah.
are better than the movies that are made from them. Would you agree?
Oh, recently because I've been like watching so many good movies that are so similar to the script, I don't think I can say that because like Amadeus is so similar to that, and then,
Right.
Maestro is also like that. But then I don't know. I have to like think about it. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I feel like most scripts are either exactly like the movie, very similar vibes, or they're better than the movie. Very rarely you have a script that's worse than the movie. Like you read the script and you're like, what? The movie was so much better than the script. How did they make it from there?
I see. Yeah.
So it's like of course they're interrelated. Like if you have a good script, you could make a good movie or like a shitty movie. But if you have a bad script, there's no way you can make a good movie out of it.
What
so that
about
makes sense.
Elf? I think we had a discussion about like their script and movie, and you didn't like the script.
I thought the script was too serious compared to the movie.
I see.
And like because it's just started having guns in it in the middle. It's like a gun attack battleship.
I see.
It didn't match as much. So I guess you're right. There's sometimes it could be better.
That could be the case, but most of the times this is the case.
Like usually, especially for the older movies, if you read the script first, you're like, whoa, they had great ideas. This is masterful storytelling. It's witty. It makes sense. And then you'd watch the movie and see all the limitations that they had.
Exactly. Well, you know, also, I think one thing that is so important when we're like watching these kind of movies and analyzing them is to consider that they had limited technologies and all that for like, you know, when you say that at the end when you walk out, you don't have that kind of feeling left with. I guess that's kind of like one thing we could like say. They didn't have that much budget, probably. I don't know. For this one. They had to do it really quickly, so they had to skip over a lot of lines and scenes in the script. And also for the filming, they had to just wrap it up somehow.
Now, the crazy thing is actually they didn't skip lines in the script because they were writing the script every day. So they would film today and then they would write the scenes for the next day.
Wow.
Even they didn't know how the movie's gonna end.
How is that possible? Because like it seemed to me such a like wrapped up kind of movie. Like everything that happened actually got mentioned again during it. So for example, you see in the first few scenes there's a couple, a woman and a man, that are like seeing this airplane and they're like, oh, I hope we someday go to America. And then they're the ones that come back again, and that Renaud is kind of like, I want to sleep with this woman, so if you do that, I'm going to give you the exit visas. And those are the couple that Rick talks to and kind of helps them in the gambling table around that. They come back, like everything, every character that was there comes back again. So I'm kind of wondering.
Well, I guess there was the play, which was so many ideas were already in the play that they were adapting, but they didn't know specifically what the movie was going to be like.
Crazy thing is that it actually felt like a play. It did. It's like they didn't change it that much from that. You take, for example, something like Amadeus again. It was a play and they made it into a movie, but they made it specifically for screen. They really changed it.
That's true. The whole structure.
But this one, when I was watching it, I felt like it was a theater, kind of like theatrical experience.
Exactly, especially because it's all mainly real time. So it's like, okay, you're in Rick's cafe and then you hear this conversation and then you jump around, here's another table and back to here.
That's why.
And they kept walking around. It was very much a walking around movie.
I know.
Let's go from this room to that room.
It's like a few locations they have. They have the Rick's Cafe American. They have the streets and market and bazaar, and then they have what?
Blue Parrot.
Right, they have Blue Parrot.
The prefect's office.
Airport.
The airport.
The office.
And that's it, literally.
That's it. Really?
Oh, the bedroom for
the girl?
The girl and Laszlo,
Yeah, that's true.
But exactly, it's very not
studio-like.
Not as awesome.
Kind of reminds me of Breakfast at Tiffany's. No.
That's true, because it was all shot in studio. Right. And here's the thing. There's a studio called Warner Brothers. Yes. So they have lots that they say, go make a movie in that lot. We're going to pay you. We hired the director, the actors and everything. And so this Warner Brothers was making 50 movies at the same time as making Casablanca.
What the hell? And at that time too.
It's like how many resources are going in different directions.
Exactly.
Whereas today, Warner Brothers would be making maybe 2 movies at the same time.
No
or 3
way.
movies.
Really?
And really focusing on it.
I would think that right now they would make like so many movies, like much more than that time. Well,
I don't know, 50 is crazy.
Because now, of course, like everything is much more expensive and they want to put so much more. The stakes are higher as well.
That's right. And maybe at that time people were really desperate for movie theater experiences. Whereas today people watch TV shows much more.
Yeah.
They don't even go to the movies that much.
That's true. TV shows are a thing now.
Now here's the thing with Michael Curtiz, the director.
Yes.
This guy, he was a refugee. He came from Hungary. And also his whole family was killed in Auschwitz. You know, we watched The Zone of Interest. There was a concentration camp. So he barely escaped with his life and he came to America.
Wow.
And
And
his
how
whole
old
family
was he
died.
when he came?
Very young, very young filmmaker. But he had already made 70 films in Hungary. This is one of those guys who never stopped working. Apparently, here's a crazy thing. Apparently, he only slept 4 hours every night. He didn't need more sleep than that.
That's so crazy.
And he made 170 movies
107
over his lifetime.
Wow. You see, like, if you don't sleep,
You have more time.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
can make all these movies.
And then we compare him to someone like Kubrick, who made 13 movies in his lifetime, to 170. Of course, there's going to be a difference, a
But it's
visual difference.
Like, it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly.
So I don't think all of his movies are good.
That's what I'm saying, exactly. Like, he
Yeah.
didn't even have the time to focus on each film that much.
Yeah. But then he has some of the best classics, I think, as well.
Yeah, he's a very famous director because his movies made so much money. The number that he made so much money. He won lots of Oscars. He was
Wow.
favored by the studio Warner Brothers.
That's
And also,
right.
like, I feel like his refugee background really helped him tell more
really
interesting
Ah,
stories.
about the stories. Because, like, I feel like at that time still racism kind of existed in America.
That's right.
I think that they maybe could have like conveyed the feelings a little bit more, because right now you just see it and you're like, yes, I'm entertained.
Right.
That's so great. It's a movie I can watch again and again. But then maybe they could have made it more impactful, like emotionally.
I know, yeah.
Because we watched like this movie Zone of Interest, and without showing any violence or anything, they made such an impact on us that I couldn't sleep at night. No, I did sleep like a baby, but I was like shaking after I walked out of the theater.
Exactly.
And it was not because of the cold, even though
Yeah.
it was cold. But
Canada's very warm these days.
yeah,
so,
exactly.
That's right. It was more just, I'm feeling, you're saying you're in love. Okay, I believe it. But you didn't feel in love.
Oh
the
yeah,
way they
you were
meant.
talking about that, the expositions and all this.
Right. So many lines.
Why do you think they have that?
This is what it feels like to me. Hey, come to our office. We have to talk to you. Okay, I'll come to your office. They sit in the office. So you did this and now you have to go to jail. Listen to me. We have to take you. Or do you want an exit visa? There's no way you're going to get it. Next scene. I really need an exit visa. Like, yeah. Then the two other people are talking. And it's very much a movie where I'm going to tell you what I want and you
Yes.
tell me where I can get it.
That's
Or
so
like
true.
you're going to say, no, I'm not going to give it to you.
Wow.
Whereas there are no visuals. Like sometimes it's good in a movie just to have somebody walking in the rain and they think,
But they
instead of
have
just-
the rain, but not the thinking.
I know, not the thinking. Exactly. Like so many talking scenes. And this is exactly a movie moment, like a blocking moment that's everywhere if you notice it. So imagine there's a shot and then somebody comes into the shot really angry, like, don't talk to me, I don't want to see you again. And then another person comes in the shot and they're like, no, listen to me, you have to listen. And then the first person just leaves the shot. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get it. Like the first scenes, you mean, like in the cafe, or?
I'm thinking, this happens so many times, like even in the romance scenes, where it's like one person gets trapped in the shot and then they just leave it, and that's how the shot ends. That's such a movie way of telling a story, because the world is not in a frame, right? The world goes on all around us, but then that's saying, in this frame, this is where you guys are, and then one of them leaves.
I see what you mean. So you're like, they make you stuck in one place instead of like you being immersed in the character and like following that character or something.
Exactly.
You're just stuck there, even though that character left or another character left, just because this is what they decided to show you.
That's true.
Yeah.
And this is how they just made movies at that time. It's pretty normal. Like even today you see it, but mainly during that time, this is just how they blocked it.
But that makes it, I think that's the reason that you don't feel as emotional when you watch the movie.
That's right.
Because you're not in the character's mind or in their world, like one character or two or something. You're like just stuck in one scene, just like in a theater.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just sitting there and there is the scene.
No,
There is the...
I have to look at this. I have no other choice.
Right.
Whereas if you think about Full Metal Jacket, not that these movies have anything to do with each other, but just because we did Full Metal Jacket last week.
Yeah.
You remember the scene, the sergeant guy is teaching everyone how to behave, and it's just one camera, and he's walking all around, and we see the whole room, and the camera's turning around, and we see every soldier.
Oh yeah.
It's so different because then you feel like you are in that room training with them.
And even though Kubrick is also known for his detached kind of like film style, and then he's also about scene more than one character, you know. He's also like that, but again, you feel much more impacted by Kubrick's films.
I know.
Than this one.
Also, you know, I was gonna say maybe America didn't know about the concentration camp, and that's why this guy looks so good. Like, other than his scar, there's nothing else going on. Like, he looks really well fed. He looks happy overall.
He looks, yes. Like,
but even though he came out of this camp, supposedly. But then you realize the director's mom, dad, and sister died in the camp. So the director knew exactly what's going on.
Whoa. But maybe he didn't have that much influence again.
Yeah, either that, or maybe he wanted this man to seem really put together. Like, he's a perfect man.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to think about not just the appearance of this person, but the symbol. He's a symbol, right?
Right.
It's like inside of him is this strong man that is like that. I've seen so many photos of like soldiers before and after going to world wars. And it's like they drastically change for the rest of their lives. At first, like, they're 18-year-old, 20-year-old boys, young boys that are so full of life and energy. But then when they come back, even though they're like 25 or maybe 30, they have these under eyes, like these black. And then their face is so thin and so slim, and you can't even recognize them anymore. It's like so bony, and oh God, they look absolutely changed for life. They age so fast and so badly.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I think that wouldn't have been the case, but then they have these ideas.
You're exactly right. They want to show this soul of the man, and he is at him as a symbol as opposed to his reality.
Exactly. Either that, or just this studios had so much power over this movie, maybe.
That's true too.
And they controlled everything. Oh God, what is it about smoking at those times?
Smoking and
People
drinking.
Smoke for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I know.
They smoke more than they breathe in
like,
the air.
Is it just because the smoker was, like, the smoke company was the sponsor or something? I'm, like, really thinking, because every movie from that time, every character was always smoking.
People really smoke a lot at that time, and they didn't know the health damages that it caused.
That's true.
Did you know that? They actually thought it's good for their health.
What?
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just so classy. Every time I watch these kind of movies, I want to smoke.
That's the
even
thing.
though I've never.
Like, even I think the filmmakers are using it as a artistic thing. Like, when it smokes, it makes the light look nicer. So, and also it adds dimension to the shot now because you're looking at the smoke. So it's so bad. It's like every film, every shot, every scene, the character is smoking, and you're like, and this is such a bad influence for people to watch. Like, this is why people get addicted.
People think they have to be, if they smoke, they're going to be cool. I mean, I think that.
I know, exactly.
I really want to smoke after watching these movies or while watching them. Or I'm like, oh, I can never be a true artist if I don't smoke.
I know.
I gotta be like, imagine this, okay? Picture this. You're sitting at your desk. It's a wooden table. And you have this candle lights, right? All around you. And you have this typewriter. This typewriter, like old ones that have this clicking sound. Tick, 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 tick. And you're just like, oh, I can't come up with anything. Where is this going?
Yeah.
My life is ruined. But you have the smoking in your hand. The smoke.
I know. You're describing this
cigarette. Oh, yeah. That's true.
Exactly.
Like, look at that. Isn't it cool?
I know.
And I'm like, I could never get there if I don't smoke. That's such a bad influence.
It's just imagery that's been stuck in your head.
Yeah.
It's just not true, though.
Sometimes I'm so like... The reason that I don't write or I don't write well is because I don't smoke.
I know, but, you know, you have to remember it's a lie. Like, in this movie, every shot, people are drinking. They're either ordering a new cocktail or, like, there's a thing. There's always people are holding a drink. Like, if you go back, even the last shot of the film, they're in the middle of the airport. The guy pulls out his glass and the wine. Like, where'd that come from? Do you remember this?
Yes.
And so they're just like hitting their shots, and you're like, do you just carry a glass with you? And even Carl does that. Carl had a glass in his pocket.
Damn!
Like, it's just too many
I think
instances.
I don't know about like 40, 50 years ago, but like I know for a fact that 200 years ago people drank wine much more than water because of the fact that water was maybe like I don't know, it had disease or something. It was more likely that water was not good for you.
Wow.
Wine was much better, really. Like if you think about it, if you go back in time, don't drink water, drink wine. And that's better.
That's crazy.
I know.
Well, right. They didn't have ways to clean the water.
Yeah, exactly. So
But in this film, though, you imagine they're drinking all night. They're at the club drinking, and then we cut to Rick alone, and he's like, I need to take the edge off, and he starts drinking. But you're like, but you were drinking all day already.
oh my god,
How you just keep drinking?
day drinkers, night drinkers, they drink all the time. Wow. And then there's so many good music too in the cafe.
Yeah.
Singers and all that.
Why do you think there were so many musical sections?
It's just so beautiful and it makes you feel really good. And again, it adds to the feeling of coziness, being united and together. That also adds. Even we see with Victor coming, you know, that scene that he's like unites everybody by singing. And
Sing La Marseille. Right.
Why
and
Le
people are-
Marseille, by the way?
I think because they were in France. Well, they were in Morocco, but it's occupied by France.
Right.
And the other guys are singing a German song. So this guy Victor is saying, no, should have some patriotism. Sing your French song about
But what
La
about the
Marseille."
Germans also started, like that general started singing, but wasn't he?
He was singing his German song.
Oh, I see.
So the Germans are singing their song, and these guys are out voicing them
Wow.
by being more.
I see now.
So that one song, it makes sense. It's about patriotism. But then there were so many other instances where they just let Sam play a song.
Or that other girl, the
yeah,
singer
or the other girl.
with the guitar.
There's too many, I feel like. Even though it does put you in the mood too, because then you feel like I'm in the cafe. I'm hearing the songs that they would hear.
Yeah. Oh, I remember this quote of this girl that talked to Rick, and she was like, will I see you tonight? Oh, that's too far away, I guess.
I never planned
that far. You see, like, I tell you that, and you laugh at my face, and you're like, no, you can't do this. But then this guy lives like that, too.
Right.
Never planned that far.
Damn, and he has a whole nightclub.
I know.
He does well for himself.
And that is one thing, but also, like, when I was watching the movie, it was also about, like, refugees and immigration. So it's, like, a huge part of our lives, too.
I know.
You know, lots of our families and our relatives and friends, they would do anything to go out of Iran and go to America. So there were so many people that would just say, pay me this amount of money, I would ship you, not ship you, I would take you to Turkey, and then from Turkey, from probably like with a boat or something to Greece, and then from there to England, or maybe from there to America. So it was like, it's a thing, and it happens all the time, and you know it, but it's just that you really think about it, and you want to do it. I know if I didn't come, I would do anything to get to
Exactly.
to the West. Because, you know, it's not even these people's fault. Like, these countries are so bad. If people want to immigrate, it takes lots of courage. And there is something wrong, definitely, that is going on. They have to do it. Because nobody wants to change this much. Nobody wants to pack everything in just one suitcase and go. So it's like one thing that happened so often was that a lot of Iranians would go to Turkey.
Oh, I know.
And they would wait there and wait and wait and wait.
Exactly.
For years and years.
Just to
and
hear
years.
like that if they're allowed to come to this country.
Exactly. So they would sign up something as refugees. So they would sign it, and then maybe someday their name would be drawn out, and one country would claim them, either Canada, America, England, or Australia. And it was like, this is so sad. Some people spend their whole lives in Turkey and never had the opportunity to come like that.
You're right. And it's like their life stopped while they were there. They left their home country and they're stuck in this middle country while they try and get to another place.
And by the way, if you're like a refugee and you claim that, you can't move out of that country. So they can't go back anywhere. They basically like give their passports to Turkey. and then they have to be there until their names are drawn out. So it's like so dragging, it's so hard, and very relatable.
And it's exactly like this film where they got stuck in Casablanca, this place in Africa.
Exactly, yeah. It's just so, it was so great to see that. I loved it.
I know.
And to think that America has always been this land for the people without shelter, people who had only a dream, and that's it. America has always been that. And the Turkish people actually called America Yeni World. Yeni Donya, something like that, which means like the new world. And yes, it is a new world. It is a new world of new opportunities for new people, for people that have nobody and nothing to build their lives.
That's right. And it's so far away from these England and European countries that it's almost not connected. The wars don't have to be related.
Exactly.
It's just a whole new place, literally. And it wasn't it wasn't so long ago that it was discovered. So literally it is also a new land.
Yeah.
And it also had so many opportunities for people to start again because there was no aristocrats there. It's like people just come here and work.
That's true.
And get somewhere.
Nobody can claim the land or anything. You are free to do anything you want. It's like the whole other side of the world, Asia, Africa, and Europe, they were like these old worlds with old beliefs and old ideals, and it was all rusty, and you couldn't get far if you weren't from like a good family. And you had so much wealth and land and all that. So it was like a new opportunity that you could take advantage of. And everybody wanted to go there. To this day.
I know. Exactly.
Perhaps if you told him I ran the second largest banking house in Amsterdam.
Second largest?
Oh, the leading banker
is our chef for the pastry chef. And his father is the bellboy. That's
amazing.
iconic.
Yeah.
Because it's like it goes beyond just him. We own his whole family.
Right.
And his father has like a degrading position.
Exactly.
The bellboy. But probably the father is old too. That's crazy. Why would they hire him as the bellboy? Like, give him a job where he sits down or something.
That was just, I think it wasn't telling the truth.
Yeah,
that's the obvious.
Right.
But, you know, I love the fact that they dragged it so long until they showed us Rick.
Oh, yeah.
It was like around 11 or like 10 minutes until we saw him.
Exactly.
And then we see him sign this. And then he's the cool guy. He's so mysterious. Goes everywhere. He's not affected by anyone. And that's like the goal I have. I know at the end he did like take a side, but I think he should like go back to the neutral. You should go back to that, you know? I think that's the way of life. That's so much better. You saw that everybody wanted like his attention. They were attracted to him. I think that's the thing. I think that's the truth. Like that's the thing principle of life. Kind of. Not be attached, affected by anybody, and they will come to you. Because they think you have something under your sleeve that you're hiding, or like, I don't know. You can help them somehow.
That's right. But he let his business take over, though. He constantly was like, I'm a saloon runner. Right. This is my job. I'm going to go do my job again.
That's true. Maybe he got more free even at the end. You're right. And he did. With you saying that in the last shot, it felt like his soul was free now.
Right. He was making choices, it felt like.
Yes.
Like before, he was just like, I'm not going to get involved. And he was living this empty life. But by the end, he was like, I will do what I think is right.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, like, I know that Rick is about, like, America, and it represents America. And that's the thing. Not only America, but, like, the modern-day gray people. So who are gray people? People that are so neutral. They don't want to be involved in politics at all. They're always the majority. And if they don't do anything about some political matter or something, the minority is going to take over. So that happened in Iran in the revolution. The gray people were so much that they didn't do anything when just the minority was doing the revolution and all that. They didn't speak up for the king or for their country. They just stayed in their house like, I don't care. I don't know. I have my own business. I have my own life. Like, and that's how they came and stole the country like that.
So sometimes you need the patriotism movies to get you out of your gray zone. Because for me too, like I never even vote. That sucks.
You don't vote? You gotta vote this
I
time.
do. Yeah, I don't vote for everything. Like I vote for the very important, like once every 4 years or something.
Yeah.
But then there's all these other municipality governments and everything. Like, I don't even know anything about them.
But those are the ones that really affect you.
I
by
know,
the way. Like your
exactly.
taxes, everything.
Yeah, you should be involved, more involved in the government.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't, they're gonna take over. Like some people are gonna decide for you. Might as well take charge of your life and do whatever you can.
I think the gray people, their philosophy is, I don't trust the government to even make decisions for me. I'm gonna live my own life and not gonna get lost in these political campaigns because they're all gonna lie anyway. People just want power. They're not gonna make any change.
That's true. But then you can choose one of the worst options. Like the better of two evils, you know, you could choose that one. And then you can't always, like, you got to choose that. And you also can't blame anything on the government because, like, yes, that's their thing. They want power. They're drunk with power. That's their goal. That's what they go after. And you live your life. That's true. So there are these outside circumstances, things that happen, economy, war, all these things. But you still have control over your reaction, how you're going to spend your day.
Why did you even come to Casablanca? What are you doing here?
Well, they told me that they have good waters here.
Good waters? What waters? We're in the desert.
Well, I've been told lies.
That's so funny.
He has such a deep voice. I love his voice. Yeah. All right.
I stick my neck out for nobody.
I stick my neck out for nobody. Nobody.
That's really good because now we could put his saying it and see if it's similar. Like, put the video of that.
I think I was too...
Kiss me. Kiss me as if it's the last time.
Ew, so dramatic.
Yeah.
So dramatic. It's like... You know, like one of these paintings. You know, like, kiss me for the last time.
But that's the writer. Like, a guy wrote this.
I know.
That's the problem.
But the character says that, and I have a problem with that.
Well, let us know what you think about the amazing lines in Casablanca, as well as the romance between Victor, Ilsa, and Rick.
Right. I mean, if you watch that on Valentine with your partner, you probably want to just break up with them, go to war, and then go after your ideals and fight for your country.
Exactly.
That's why we picked this movie, you know? Break up with your partner.
Yes. It's definitely nothing to do with romance. It's about idealism and sacrifice.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your love. Do sacrifice your love. Leave your partners. Romance is dead. No,
Yes.
just kidding. Happy Valentine's Day.
Or not.
Maybe we're kidding. Maybe we're not.
Please subscribe for more movies and watch our other previous episodes right here.
Check out Full Metal Jacket, my favorite film.
Yeah.
The episode came out last week.
Here's Full Metal Jacket. And what else? Are we going to do some Kubrick here?
Oh, please.
Also, Barry
Let's
Lyndon.
do Barry Lyndon.
Yeah.
2001 coming up.
Yeah.
Subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.
Subscribe. Okay, thank you so much and have a good day. Bye-bye.